Hey, it's Niclas, and holy fucking shit, Resident Evil 5 sucks. It sucks so bad that I have to make a rant video midway through my first time playing the game. I completed the first 3 of 6 chapters and my mind is fried. Release me from this nightmare. The only thing keeping me going is meeting Daddy Wesker and Mommy Joe. So why is this game so bad? Let's just start at the fact that this game is not a Resident Evil game. Other than the title and characters, this is basically a generic war shooter game. You could do this exact same setup of American soldier teams up with local agent in Africa to deal with a virus, whatever, in any other shooter game. Nothing about this is Resident Evil. Where's the exploration? Atmosphere? Backtracking, remarkable sound design, memorable locations, anything that one loved about the first 4 games. From the setup to the game design and entire overworld, this is so far detached from a Spence mansion, RPD police station, hospital, or castle. Everything about this screams generic war shooter from the early 2000s, like some $10 flea market Far Cry ripoff. And you know what? That could be somewhat okay if it was fun to play. Which it's not. Beyond the extremely generic everything, you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over. Which means you load into area A, want to move to area B, and on the way there now mow through the same repetitive enemies with their absurd ragdoll mechanics. And again, this could be okay if it was fun to play. Which it's not, because holy shit is the gunplay and movement fucking awful. It's so fucking bad. Chris doesn't just have the bicep size of John Cena, but also moves around like Big Show after he got put through a steel cage. Playing Chris feels like trying to park in a tight spot with some old rusty truck. The way he moves around corners, the way he slowly has to turn around, the way he has to stand still to reload. What the fuck? Every single step you take feels clunky and weird, especially when you're squished in between yet another wave of enemies. And besides the soggy brick movement is the god-awful gunplay. Why is the first thing that pops up when I Google Resident Evil 5 awful gunplay, what makes the gunplay in RE5 incredibly satisfying? In what world is this fucking satisfying? Bullets sound and feel like Nerf darts, every single weapon feels like plastic, reloading like mentioned feels awful, and most enemies are super awkward to kill. I have thousands of hours across FPS games, so if there's one thing I can judge, it's gunplay, and this gunplay fucking sucks. Like I had replayed RE2 Remake right before starting RE5. That is satisfying and impactful gunplay. Every shot has weight and matters, which is amplified by the way enemies react to them. You shoot 10 times as much in this game, and there is not even 1% of that feeling present. And mentioning gameplay, what the fuck is this UI? Why is jumping and interacting on F? Why is the inventory on E? Hello? Is this fucking Minecraft? And that is not all. So besides the repetitive and generic game design that has you do the same thing in the least satisfying fashion over and over, Sheva also fucking sucks. Why the fuck does she let herself get killed so many times? Why does she just stand around with her stun baton looking at me, denying me ammo while I stand right next to her? She's more of a liability than help, and makes the already tough experience even more tough to go through, especially when you need to cooperate. Dude, this fucking village section with the 2 big guys that can't die? I dropped down that fucking bridge 4 times. Look at this. This game is ass. This game is so bad. I actually don't know what to say anymore at this point. And then later at the oil station. Look! I have to reload. Sheva, don't die. I swear to God. Sheva, you fucking useless piece of shit. This game is so horrible. It's actually one of the worst games I've ever played. What do you want me to do? Even Ashley did more! Resident Evil 5 is such an unbelievably generic, tedious, miserable experience. The only redeeming quality is the absurdity and cheesiness, which is amplified by the knowledge that Chris's voice actor also played Sonic. Everything else sucks. I genuinely can't believe these ratings. As it stands, on my rating scale, this game is a 4 at best. And that is generous. Depending on the remaining 3 chapters, this shit might get a 3, 2, or even worse. I really haven't played many bad games, but Resident Evil 5 fucking sucks. See you soon with a proper full review.